All righty, Election Day is in 2 weeks, and now is a perfect time to head to the polls. Early voting already underway here in Texas, and of course the turnout so far we're hearing very low. I recently talked with Harris County Clerk and election official Tanisha Hudspeth. She shares some vital information for voters and what you need to know as you go to the polls. When we think about election and this atmosphere in this country, what would be the most important thing that voters need to know?
They need to know that their vote matters, even more so in local elections. Look, people pay attention to presidential elections, the ads that are running. There's a lot of money put into those. But when it comes to local and statewide elections, it's kind of quiet on the Western Front. So what they need to know is that their vote matters, and this is even more the reason why. There are 17 state constitutional amendments on this ballot that just passed the legislative session to come on the ballot. What does that mean? Property taxes, homestead exemptions, school fees, bonds, trustee. These are all things that voters need to know about. And not only that, there's 2 special elections that conventionally wouldn't be on an odd year election. Congressional District 18, yes. That seat has been vacant for many months now, almost close to a year, because of the untimely passing of Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee and Sylvester Turner. And so that district has gone without representation for months. And so now voters in CD 18, which we're standing right here at Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church, right in the middle of CD 18, will choose their elected official, and there's 16 candidates. So people will need to do their homework. Also, City of Houston, large at 4.
When people think about an election and they think, okay, this is a small election, no big deal.
Yeah.
You're saying the total opposite of that.
That's right.
That everyone should get involved when it comes to politics.
Absolutely.
Because it's affecting them.
That's right. It meets you at your doorstep. Your local elections and statewide elections meet you at your doorstep. Also, Harris County is the 3rd largest county in the nation, the largest in the state of Texas. So there's always something to vote for here in Harris County. So there are some areas like Cy-Fair, Houston City College, many school districts, and bonds. Anytime you hear the word bond, you better know it involves money and your taxpayer dollars. So it's absolutely the opposite. Like I said, there's not a lot of money put into advertisements when it's local elections, but these are the ones that meet you at your doorstep and most important. So we're here to remind people to go to Harris Votes, go look and see what's on your ballot, and prepare to make a plan and vote. And those propositions are not easy to understand for or against. Right. So you really need to study those before you go and vote in your vote center.
Now, currently there's a movement nationally to try and get individuals to prove that they're not only who they are, right, but they're American born, or they're U.S. citizens. For those who are going to the polls in Harris County, sure, identification is important. So what would you have to tell them locally? Yeah,
well, here in Texas, you have to be a U.S. citizen to be a registered voter. So that's the first step, right? If you're registering to vote, you do have to go through a process with your local registrar, which also gets verified in the state. So you need to make sure that you have one of the 7 identifying documents. This is all on Harris Votes as well. So a driver's license, Texas election ID, it could be a passport, it could be a birth certificate, it could be any document with your photo ID on there that's U.S. military paperwork, handgun license. Those are many of those items, and you can go to harrisvotes.com to double check which one of those that you have. So a reminder, you have to be a registered voter. You must be a citizen here in the state of Texas, and with any of those documents, you're permitted to vote. You're pretty much inside and out the door within 10 minutes if it's a location that doesn't have a line.
And for those who may have any issues, are you hearing or are you anticipating any problems that they may have? What are those, if any? Yeah,
there was a little bit of a struggle. The statewide system that confirms voter registrations earlier this year was a little slow. They were making upgrades. And so, weeks passed, months passed, there was a delay in that. But working right up to early voting, we've caught up quite a bit. As a matter of fact, the voter registrar, who's Annette Ramirez, not myself, obviously. Voters need to know if they're registered, they qualify, we'll get them processed in and out the door. So that's the main thing. You need to be a registered voter. So you can go to Harris Votes, go to the voter registration tab, verify whether you're registered. Did you update your address, or is your address older? And if it is an older address, when you come to the poll, you can fill out an SOR, which is called a statement of residence, and update your address and still vote. So it doesn't disallow you to vote if you've moved and you've not updated your address.
All right. Thank you for your time, and good election to you.
That's right. Thank you so much.